Tourism is an ever-growing factor that affects a country's economic growth, with over 11.8 million UK residents visiting other countries in the 3 months following January. So is worldwide tourism going to continue to grow, and will youth tourism play any role in this number? Rosie Brown and Allard investigate these impacts to find out what is causing tourism numbers to rise and to investigate what affects a young person's decision to take a holiday. In this documentary, we're going to be investigating how people between the ages of 18 and 25 go on holiday and why.
But are these holidays for the beach or are they for the alcohol?
So what types of holidays appeal to young people? We carried out a survey and shared it on social media platforms to appeal to the 18-25 demographic that we are focusing on. The outcome of this survey suggests that young tourists are more likely to book a beach holiday over a shopping holiday. This is represented in the graph, clearly outlining the difference in preferences.
Money-wise, the overall market value, as you can see on the very most right, youth travel is worth almost 250 billion per annum. So it's more than other businesses or sectors, as you can see, be it Twitter or Coca-Cola or the state budget of Portugal, just for a comparison. It is quite comparable in terms of revenues with business travel. So when you imagine how business travel is important within tourism, so is monetary youth tourism.
For years, places such as Ibiza, Greece, Malia, Magaluf, Ayia Napa have been party spots for people of this age demographic.
Obviously, party destinations such as Malia and Magaluf are popular with people looking for a drinking holiday, with the average staying between 3 and 7 nights. This table from ABTA's 2017 Holiday Habits Report shows that people are more likely to take a city break or beach holiday over an activity holiday or travelling for music events. In order to get a vivid idea into where young adults travel to and why, we interviewed a varied selection of participants from our chosen demographic to enlighten us on what they think.
Where have you been in the past 2 years?
Well, in the past 2 years, I've been to, I think, about 7 different countries. So I've been to Lithuania, Romania, Budapest, Australia, France, Ireland, and I'm going to go to the Ukraine in the next month.
So what is youth travel? Basically, it may be anywhere from school trip to study abroad, gap year, volunteer travel, exchange programs, educational trips, language study abroad, adventure travel. It might be leisure group travel, FITs, work experience, internships. And as you can see on the screen behind my back, most of the reasons why they travel is related to a content. It's not so much to get away from something, but to get for something in the destination. And this is an important vector in the overall youth tourism pattern.
Do you use TripAdvisor or any other booking sites before going on holiday?
I use booking sites to look for flights and hotels, but I don't use TripAdvisor in the sense of looking at reviews. I just look on there as a mean of booking how to get to where I want to go.
How do I research my holidays? I use a lot of TripAdvisor. I found that it's very useful and reliable when it comes to getting opinions on previous travellers and what they've been, where they've been, how they've rated it. I find it very, very useful.
I see if I can find a cheap weekend deal to go away somewhere in Europe. Cheaper, the cost of living is the better.
From this chart, we can clearly see that most youth tourists look on websites, especially TripAdvisor, before booking a holiday. This also relates to the way we book our holidays with technological advances ever developing. A table from the ABTA website 2018 shows the trends of how young people book their holidays, with 29% of people aged 16 to 24 booking their breaks on a tablet compared to a 1% in the over 65 bracket.
So, what made you book these trips, and did you do a lot of research before?
Well, for every country I go to, mainly in Europe, I always look up the beer prices before I book anywhere. And then once I find a country which has got the cheapest beer price, I then go on Ryanair. I'll have a look at Nambido, and have a look at the average cost of living, and then I'll have a look at flights, and then I'll have a look at accommodation, like mainly hostels, because they're the cheapest form of accommodation. And then normally, if it's under like £100, I would normally book to go.
Now, when you're saying that lady doesn't know you, but the people on your phone do know you, no, they don't. So people don't know you any more than that lady does. At least that lady can give you some first-hand local ideas based on what you want to do. Where do you want to go? I do think that's always going to be there. All right, when we go travel places, everyone in this room, you're all in travel. When we go places, don't you always want to do the local experience and not the chainy tourism destination experience, right? Is everybody okay? You're not going to get that from your phone. You're going to get that from a welcome center. That they will evolve, they will get better information, and that's how it's going to go.
I've got the app on my phone. There's also a section that says near me now, so you can press where you are and it tells you like what restaurants and bars are around you, which is great for like, you know, knowing where to go, where's cheap to go. So you can kind of tailor it to what you're actually looking for.
Because I travel by myself, I'd say yes, I do research into my holidays and like the hotels and attractions and things. One for my own peace of mind and then my parents' peace of mind, so they want to know I'm safe. So I typically use like TripAdvisor to check reviews because I feel like that's the most honest way. And then once I've stayed there myself, I also leave a review for other young people like me doing the same thing.
Is Brexit going to affect the way people travel in the future? Are they going to stay and travel domestically, or are they going to travel abroad?
Have I been abroad recently? Yes, I have. I went to New York in November for my birthday.
So where have you been in the past 2 years?
In the past 2 years, I have been to Minnesota, New York, Florida with meeting my friend as she was working out there for the summer. Then I went to Switzerland, Salou, and then Thailand on a family holiday.
My most recent holiday was in December 2017 when I went to Dubai. I visited countries in North America, Europe and Africa.
My most recent holiday was to Thailand in January 2018. I visited 24 countries including Russia, Europe, North America and Asia.
From this chart we can determine where young people prefer to travel to. It is evident that beach holidays are more popular compared to city holidays. However, Kai explains his reasons as to why he would rather a city break over a beach getaway.
Before I liked the idea of a beach holiday, but now I live in London, I like the idea of like city holidays and like city breaks. So that's kind of why I wanted to go to New York.
Culture plays a large part in choice of destination when booking a holiday. This bar chart separates the different priorities people take into consideration when booking a vacation. 35% of the overall survey responses we received indicated that culture is a main part of why they travel abroad. A number of participants chose to travel for culture and heritage purposes. This was one example of a heritage site in Wales.
Climate doesn't affect my choice of holiday destination because I don't really like a beach holiday. I prefer activity holidays and the weather doesn't really matter for this. An example would be the summer just gone, I was in America. I went to a country music festival for over 3 days, and the one day it was during like a tropical depression as a follow-on from the hurricane in Texas. I still was there enjoying myself, so climate makes no difference to me.
What motivates you to go abroad?
Mainly it's the opportunity of finding warmer countries.
It was freezing and like proper cold. But you know, what did I learn about the place? There's a lot of sightseeing, a lot of walking. I guess as a tourist, you know, I wanted to cover it all, but it would be nice next time I go to kind of just rein it in and have a bit of a rest and just maybe enjoy the holiday more rather than just traipsing around.
Have you learnt a lot about the places you visit, or do you simply just go to drink?
I've definitely learned a lot about the different countries I go to, especially when I went to Australia. I managed to do the entire East Coast and like absorbing the culture and getting a feeling for the city, because it's really important when you go to a new city that you find your bearings and then interact with the locals, because the locals can point you in the right direction, and then you learn bits of information about their culture and where they came from and how the city's progressed.
But it was good. I found it amazing. It was like being on a constant movie set all the time. You know, you've got the yellow cabs, you've got the fire engines, so yeah, it does make you think that you're on a movie set, which was pretty cool.
I decided to book a holiday to Singapore and Thailand. I went to Singapore for Christmas and Thailand for New Year's Eve. It's the furthest I've ever travelled on a plane. I booked both destinations because I couldn't decide between a city and a beach holiday. I booked these purposely to allow myself to experience the Asian culture between two very different places. I learned lots from each country in regards to their everyday life, their work, their food, and also the infrastructure and weather. One of the main influences that drew me to go to Singapore was to experience the Marina Bay Sands Hotel in real life and to capture this moment to share with my friends on social media. I'd heard lots of good reviews about Thailand from people my age, and it's a destination which you feel compelled to visit due to the cultural uniqueness and beauty.
I've been travelling to Dubai from a young age with my family and feel it is a destination for any age range. Although the laws and regulations cast a negative outlook on the city, the culture and heritage is not one to miss. I went in winter 2017 to celebrate Christmas and New Year with my family. The main reason for choosing Dubai was to see the New Year's fireworks display around the Burj Khalifa. There are many cultural differences between Dubai and the UK, including weather, food, and clothing, but this doesn't deter me from travelling there. I'm actually going to work there in the summer this year to expand my knowledge and perception of the city and its culture.
New York, I found it sort of similar price to London. Everything's just a bit larger. The portions are larger. You have pancakes for breakfast, which is bizarre, but you have to do it to get in with it. I feel like London's got a bit more culture to it though. You can tell it's kind of London's got more history behind it. I don't know. It's just got more. I found it more quirky, which is what I like.
Are you afraid of the effects of Brexit?
To a certain degree, yes. Just because of my job line, I'll be trying to travel to a lot of different countries. So, with Brexit does happen, it will make me a harder time for me to get visa in different countries. In that sense, yeah, I am. But overall, not really. Just because I'm so young.
This pie chart indicates the range of responses we had regarding the effects of Brexit. 39% of people are like Santosh, where they think Brexit will not affect their choices to travel in the future.
Are the impacts of Brexit going to affect your future holiday choices?
Only in terms of currency exchange, because of how much it's going to cost me to actually be able to spend whilst on holiday. But in terms of going on holiday, no, because I'll pay no matter how much it is, because I want to see that country.
Does Brexit scare me? Not really. I'm just a bit more worried about having to pay visas for my, travelling around Europe. At the present, I love being able to just, hop on a plane and not have to worry about visas. It's not something that I've ever had to worry about. Maybe, like my mum's era. But yeah, now I just like kind of the flexibility of being able to just go wherever. And I'm a bit worried that that's, someone's going to throw a spanner in the works and I'm not going to be able to go where I want to go. But, if it comes to it, just pay the visa in it, just get on with it.
I wouldn't say I'm afraid of Brexit in terms of me going over to America because it's going to affect European destinations. However, if plans go to head for the fact that British people will need a new passport, then there's going to be an extra cost, which I didn't have in the first place. So then, yeah.
Before departure, I would like to draw your attention to the following safety information.
A mock airline cabin in a classroom in Leeds. These 16 and 17-year-olds hope to get jobs in Europe and beyond. Some of them are worried about the future.
If I do become cabin crew, there won't be many opportunities with the bigger airlines in the EU for me to get a job. It might make it a lot harder, and I might just have to obviously work in the UK airlines and not be linked with any bigger ones, which might affect my career.
Will Brexit affect your holiday choices abroad, or will you travel domestically?
It will definitely affect my choices. Coming up to in Europe, especially because if there's going to be more visas implemented within travel, then they're gonna have excess cost, and also it might prevent my opportunity to work abroad.
Would you ever consider working abroad?
Yeah, I would. I would like to go to different countries like America and such, just because of job opportunities for animators.
During my first year of my degree, I took part in the work and travel program, and I flew to Minnesota in North America to work in a theme park there called Valley Fair, where I worked as a barista. It was really good. I got to travel around America as well. I went to Chicago, Washington. It was really fun. During my second year, I had to undertake a compulsory work placement. I worked with Celebrity Cruises as selling shore excursions. I was on board for 6 months and I got to travel around the world from Russia, Miami, the Caribbean, the whole of Europe, Greece.
I participated on a cultural exchange program because I've always loved America as a destination, and then I knew I was going to uni the following September, so I wanted something that would enhance my CV and also help shape my career path into what it's becoming today.
Would you ever like to work abroad? If so, why?
Yes, the main reason I'm studying travel and tourism is that I can hopefully work abroad someday. It's always been an aspiration, just because I feel you can work and see the world at the same time, and I've always wanted to travel, so it's 2-in-1 bargain deal.
From the online survey we carried out, we can see that half of the overall responses said that terrorism would not affect their decision to go abroad on holiday, with only 19% saying that it would.
Does terrorism affect your holiday choices?
No, because it can happen anywhere you go, so wherever I'm going to book a holiday, at some point there's going to be a terrorist attack in that place, so it doesn't put me off really.
Is there any countries you wouldn't travel to?
No, not really. If I had the chance to go anywhere, I'd take it.
Is terrorism a factor? I would say no in choosing the holiday destinations. Actually say that, I wouldn't go to Turkey, I wouldn't go to Egypt. There's actually a thing on Google where you can type in a country and then safety, and then it tells you how safe the country is to go to based on what the government is saying, so that's really useful. But no, I think it's just like word of mouth and what you read in the media. Like, I wouldn't go to Turkey, as I said, although you can get really cheap holidays and I'm sure it's fine. For me, I wouldn't want to take that risk knowing I can go somewhere else and just enjoy myself without it in the back of my head.
This is statistics from WTTC, and our guest Maribel will talk more about this. But travel, how do travel and education relate to each other? So we have 1 out of 10 jobs globally created by travel and tourism. And we have these contributions you can see behind me. So 10.5% GDP and 3.8% annual growth. What is worth to mention, and continuity to Talib's speech, some of the segments of youth tourism actually produce or perform above average, so they outperform the average tourist and they are more resilient, so they are a good investment for tour operators, for destinations and other stakeholders in tourism.
The future of youth travel looks very promising, with an estimated 100 million more travels by 2020 and an overturn of $320 billion. There will be an increase in educational and experience programs to advance youth learning within the sector. As well as these increases, there is a potential for future youth travel agencies, which will hopefully increase the number of youth using travel agencies to book their holidays, rather than their phones or computers.
Hopefully this documentary has given you an insight into the minds of youth travellers and what motivates young people to travel.
We've had first-hand accounts from people from a range of regions around the UK. Surprisingly, a lot less youth travelled for drinking holidays than we expected, and more opted for a beach vacation.
We have found out that youth tourism impacts the economy worldwide and actually makes more money than Twitter. We hope you have enjoyed this episode of BBC Panorama and see you next week.